In the late 1990s, British researchers placing cages of male trout downstream from sewage treatment plants stumbled onto a biological anomaly. Within just 2 weeks of exposure to the water, the male fish began producing eggs inside their testes. Rather than industrial sludge or pesticides, the fish were reacting to a steady stream of human hormones and synthetic birth control, discharged daily from the toilets of nearby homes. Look closely at these chemical structures. On the left is estradiol, a natural estrogen produced by the body, and on the right is ethinyl estradiol, the synthetic active ingredient in oral contraceptives. Because they are nearly identical, these trace chemicals easily slip into the fish's bloodstream and activate their estrogen receptors, triggering extreme physical changes at concentrations as low as a few parts per trillion. The discovery of these feminized fish exposed a massive blind spot in our public infrastructure. If municipal wastewater plants are failing to stop powerful human hormones from flowing into the river, what other invisible chemicals are surviving the entire journey from our drains to our drinking glasses? The first stage of our modern water gauntlet is the municipal wastewater treatment plant. These massive facilities were engineered to solve the public health crises of the 19th and 20th centuries. Their primary job is to break down oxygen-depleting organic waste and kill disease-causing pathogens. They were never purposefully designed to remove modern pharmaceuticals. To clean water, plants rely on bacteria that latch onto and digest natural molecules. But when these microbes encounter unfamiliar synthetic bonds, like artificial sweeteners or hormones, they lack the enzymes to break them. The molecules simply float by untouched. Because these plants are effectively blind to 21st century chemistry, massive volumes of treated, supposedly clean effluent are discharged into our rivers, still carrying a hidden payload of our daily chemical habits. We tend to assume that once this treated wastewater hits a river, it gets instantly diluted by massive amounts of pristine fresh water. But in arid climates where precipitation is scarce, there simply isn't enough natural flow to wash the waste away. This creates what hydrologists call effluent-dominated rivers, waterways where the flow is predominantly made up of treated sewage. This map details the Trinity River system in Texas. Wastewater from the heavily populated Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex travels approximately 320 kilometers south, eventually arriving at Lake Livingston, which serves as a primary drinking water reservoir for the city of Houston. If you were to stand right here on the banks of the Trinity, it looks exactly like a free-flowing natural waterway. Yet for much of the year, roughly 75% of the water flowing under these bridges is undiluted wastewater effluent. As this water journeys downstream, it faces nature's filtration system. Prolonged exposure to sunlight triggers photolysis, chemical reactions that successfully break apart certain lingering pharmaceuticals, like ibuprofen and naproxen, significantly reducing their concentrations. Yet even the sun cannot break everything. Chemicals engineered specifically to resist digestion inside the human body, like the saccharin inside a packet of sweeteners, or the unreactive iodine compounds used in medical X-ray imaging, have incredibly stable bonds. These molecules survive the week-long river journey completely intact. Nature's traditional purification tools of dilution and sunlight are powerless against these specific man-made bonds. That means the surviving chemicals flow directly into the reservoirs of downstream cities. The final hurdle before your tap is the drinking water treatment plant. Because these surviving trace chemicals don't stick to the suspended particles captured by standard sand filters, facilities deploy their heavy artillery, chlorine disinfection. Here, the treatment actually works to our advantage. The chlorine reacts with the remaining estrogenic hormones, altering their molecular structure. This strips away their potency, protecting human populations from the same feminization seen in the riverfish. But this chemical defense comes with a catch. While chlorine destroys the harmful hormones, it simultaneously reacts with other relatively harmless trace chemicals, forging entirely new compounds known as disinfection byproducts. The very act of chemically neutralizing a biological threat inadvertently synthesizes a brand new cocktail of mildly toxic chemicals, which then flows directly into our homes. The water pouring out of your faucet right now has successfully navigated this exact, highly complex chemical gauntlet. Engineers are actively developing Water 3.1, costly, advanced treatment retrofits that use activated carbon and ozone gas. When paired together, these technologies are highly effective at finally stripping out those stubborn artificial sweeteners and X-ray chemicals. But even our most advanced technology carries risks. Studies show that ozone can occasionally react with specific trace pharmaceuticals to produce NDMA, a potent cancer-causing byproduct. We can no longer rely on the outdated assumption that dilution is the solution to pollution. Because every new technological fix introduces unintended chemical trade-offs, we have to stop treating our rivers as waste disposal systems and accept that human civilization now operates inside a single, tightly closed loop of recycled water.